Hey, it's Randy from Funeral Funds of America. In this video, I'm going to share with you the actual pricing for $15,000 worth of burial, cremation, final expense, life insurance, or funeral funds for a 64-year-old male. Now, first thing I recommend you do is go to our website at funeralfunds.com, and we've got these free quoters on just about every page. All you need to do is click the state that you live in. We are licensed in all 50 states, by the way, and coverage amount, and then select your birthday, put the other info in there, click Get Quotes Now. It will take you to a page that's going to get you the best insurance companies that offer the lowest pricing based off your age, gender, and the state you live in. I highly recommend you take advantage of that. You can also call us directly at 888-862-9456. Our agents can actually run you exact pricing and find out what you qualify for as well. Now, one of the first things we recommend for a 64-year-old male looking for $15,000 worth of insurance is just determining, is that $15,000 going to be adequate for your final expense insurance needs? Now, typically that's going to be either cremation or burial. So let's start with cremation. The average cost of a cremation right now in the United States, where you come home in a cardboard box or an urn, is between $1,000 to $2,000. If you're going to have some sort of a ceremony with the cremation, like a celebration of life or remembrance ceremony, that's probably going to be anywhere from $3,500 to $4,500, depending what part of the country you live in. So you may be asking yourself, well, how much coverage do I need? Well, we would typically help the person who's going to have that cremation where they come home in a cardboard box or an urn. We would typically help them with right around $5,000 to $7,000 worth of coverage. Now you might be saying, well, Randy, if cremation is $2,000, why are we looking at $5,000? Well, the reason is our 64-year-old male probably wants to make it to 74, possibly 84. And we know that prices do go up over time. So what we do is we get a little bit more coverage than we need right now. And that locks in the lowest rate right now. And that inflation proofs the plan, so there's enough money in the future. But also, if you were to die sooner than anybody thought early, then there's some extra money left to pay for some extra expenses, like maybe credit card bills or maybe some medical expenses or something like that, if given the gift of time and you lived longer, you would have gotten those paid off. So it works really terrific. It protects in the long term against inflation, but it also protects in the short term in case there's some other expenses that need to be paid off. Now, if we're looking at that cremation with the ceremony, we would typically recommend right around $7,000 to $10,000. That's what most people get anyway. And again, that's inflation proofing for long term. It's protecting financially short term with some extra money, and it's locking in your lowest rate at your youngest age right now. Now, if you're looking for a burial, the average cost of a burial right now in the United States is right about $10,000. Now, if you walk into pretty much any funeral home in the United States with a $10,000 check, they will get it done for you. Chances are it's not going to be very fancy, but they should get it done. It's hard to imagine they would say no, make you walk out the door and walk 2 blocks down the road to one of their competitors and give them the money. Just understand it's not going to be very fancy. I'm sure of that. And also, it's not going to be inflation proofed. It will pay for, what's going to go on today. But, if our 64-year-old male lives to 74, yeah, it's going to need more money at that point. So typically what we would help people with age 64 male would be right around $10,000 to $15,000, sometimes $20,000, depending, if they've got really extravagant things that are going to happen at the funeral or something. But typically somewhere between $10,000 to $15,000. And that takes care of things just fine. Keep in mind, if money's tight, we can always just do the $10,000 right now. We can always add more coverage later, but that takes care of your most pressing and immediate needs right now. Now, sometimes people will say, hey, I want to take care of my final expenses, but I also want to leave some money behind for the kids. So what's like $50,000 going to cost, or 30 or 40 or whatever it is? Let's talk about 50 though. So we run the pricing on it. They go, ooh, we can't do that. Nope, we're not going to do anything then. And it's just the fact that they're on a fixed or limited income. They can afford the burial expense, the final expense insurance, but they can't afford everything. So we just have a talk with them and we say, hey, you originally came in for the final expense, but if you don't get anything, then your kids are going to have to pay this for you. And chances are they're not going to have the money at the time. They're going to have to put it on their credit cards, pay it off at 26% interest rate. And, it's probably going to take them years to pay off. Why don't we just take care of the final expense policy, and then we can always come back later if you want at that time and add a separate policy just for the kids. And they go, yeah, that's terrific. Let's do that. So it's a wonderful way to kind of handle that unique situation. Now, one thing we always recommend getting is first day coverage or benefits. That is really important. We do not recommend those plans with 2-year waiting periods. We do not recommend them at all. So we'll talk about that in a minute. But what first day coverage means is that hypothetically, if your plan were issued and approved today and you died tomorrow, the insurance company would have to write that check for $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, $25,000, whatever it was. It's going to be the best coverage at the lowest pricing. Now, some people would say, well, you're right, Randy, I do want that first day coverage, but I'm not in the greatest health, and I know they ask health questions, and I'm afraid I'm not going to qualify. To which we say, hey, that's our problem. That's our responsibility. And what we mean is from an insurance standpoint. And that's why we work with so many different insurance companies, because they all ask different health questions. They all have different underwriting. And 90 to 95% of the time right now, we're getting people qualified for first day coverage or benefits. We are terrific at what we do. Really, the only reason they wouldn't qualify is, if our 64-year-old male had some really significant health issues, like, maybe a terminal illness where he's going to pass away in the next 12 months, or had dementia, or he's on dialysis, or in a hospital, or in a nursing home. If that were the case, we would typically refer you out to a different insurance company. What also seems to happen, like on a weekly basis, it seems, is somebody will call up and say, hey, we had a family member pass away this last week and they didn't have insurance. We don't have any money. Their body's at the funeral home. The funeral home director, he's not going to do anything about this until he gets a check in his hand. So we need to get this insurance right away so we can pay the funeral home director and get everybody buried. And we have to let them know that, there is no insurance company in the United States that's going to offer a policy on somebody who's already dead. You actually have to be alive to qualify for this insurance. So it's terribly sad that their family member passed away, but it's also doubly terribly sad that they didn't have any insurance. They knew they were going to die someday. They probably looked at this insurance in the past and just thought they had time to get it, and then procrastinated. And then one day they just went and died. And now their family members have got to handle this. And they don't have the money. That's why they were calling us. So they're probably going to have to put it on a credit card, 26% interest, and they'll be paying this off for years and years and years. What a terrible legacy to leave behind. You could have done everything else right in life, and then you leave everyone with this burden at death. And it's a terrible way to leave this earth, and terrible way to leave that last memory for your family members. So, hey, this insurance is affordable. If you need to, you can start small. We can always add more coverage later. But yeah, get something in place. Let us help you out with that. We don't recommend the plans with 2-year waiting periods, as I mentioned. Colonial Penn, they're a fairly well-known company. I think they're just well-known because they advertise those $9.95 plans so much on TV. Seems like they advertise those every 7 minutes. But you may not know this, but Colonial Penn's $9.95 plan, that's a 2-year waiting period plan. Ouch. Ouch. Yeah, you don't want that. And they're not the only 2-year waiting period company in all fairness. There's other companies out there like Mutual of Omaha, the United of Omaha line, AIG, Gerber, just a bunch of other ones. And some of these companies have done an amazing job convincing the American public that if you're over age 50, the only thing you're going to qualify for is a plan with a 2-year waiting period, to which we always say, don't believe such nonsense, because we help people with first day coverage all day long. Yes, we do. But yeah, I mean, our 64-year-old male probably just got done watching one of those $9.95 commercials thinking, oh my gosh, that thing's very slick produced. At age 64, I'm probably going to get $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, maybe even $50,000 for $9.95. And then he talks to a Colonial Penn agent or goes on their website and looks up the pricing like we've done for you here, and sees that 1 unit of coverage, which is $9.95 for a 64-year-old male, is only going to buy $949 worth of insurance. That's not even enough to cover the cost of a cremation in anywhere that we know of in the United States. And even if it was, it doesn't matter because it would have a 2-year waiting period. Yeah. So yeah, why would you ever get a plan that's going to be inadequate from the very start? If you're just shopping on price, it's not going to be enough and you're going to get socked with the 2-year waiting period. We don't recommend that at all. Now, there's some people that say that these companies that offer these really low teaser rates, they do that just to tease you to get your info, and then they drop you into their marketing funnel, and then they start marketing, and then they get you on the phone, and they'll gladly show you how little coverage that is, because from there, some people will say they'll try to upsell you to more expensive coverage that's much more profitable to the insurance company. Now, we would never say Colonial Penn would do anything like that, but some people are fairly convinced of that. And I guess you can make up your own mind based on the fact that you're only getting $949 for $9.95. But let's look at $15,000. Let's see. Thing is, Colonial Penn maxes out at 15 units. That's all you can get for the $9.95 plan. So let's click and see what that is. Yeah, you can't even get $15,000. Nope, you can't. You can only get $14,235, and it's going to be roughly $150. So let's do this. Let's see what first day coverage would cost and see if we can save you some money. I know we can. So $15,000 for a male, age 64, get quote right there. And again, this is $14,000 for $149. We come over here, look at this. That's $75. So that's $15,000 for $75. And this is level coverage. Level means first day coverage. That's insurance speak, but that means first day coverage. So tell me, what would you want? Would you want for $75 roughly? Would you want $15,000? Would you be happier paying that? Or would you be happier paying $150 roughly for roughly $14,000, right? And get socked with the 2-year waiting period. So, I mean, it's kind of par for the course what we see coming out of Colonial Penn. They are typically right around 200% higher than our first day insurance companies, and you get stuck with the 2-year waiting period. So why would you do that? You just need to be an educated shopper. And it's okay that you're not an educated shopper, but let us help educate you and let us help you qualify for and get approved for these lower price policies with first day coverage. Yes, we can help you out there. Let's look at some other companies here though. Let's see. You'll be able to see all these different companies here, but let's try to find one more. Oh yeah, like a Lincoln Heritage here. They're a fine company, I guess, but look at that pricing, like $25 more, roughly $25 more. It is level coverage, first day coverage, but you're going to overpay $25 a month. Why is it more expensive? Well, they've got a deal where when you pass away, they would supposedly call 2 or 3 funeral homes to like get you the lowest pricing and maybe do a couple other things, but they do not do that for free. Oh my, no. They charge for that. It's an extra $25 a month in this case for this coverage amount. The more coverage, the more expensive. But think about that. That's going to be $25 more a month for Lincoln Heritage versus Trinity Life, which we can help you with this company. So let's do the math on that. It's $25 a month times 12 months. That will be an extra $300 a year. If our 64-year-old male lives to age 74, that's 10 years, that you will have overpaid an extra $3,000 roughly. So you got to ask yourself, is it worth overpaying an insurance company $3,000 to make 2 or 3 phone calls and do a couple other things that might only take an hour or so to do? A lot of people would say, that's a pretty good payday, pretty good paycheck for the insurance company, $3,000 an hour, right? So we recommend you don't do that. We recommend you keep that $3,000 in your bank account rather than giving that $3,000 to an insurance company to put it in their bank account. So what we recommend you do is let us help you get approved for the lowest price company. And then what we offer is a free funeral and estate planning guide. You can download that off our website and then print it out. And then at that point, you just fill it out. And all you do is you write in there who gets what goes where, and what you want to happen after you're gone. And when you're finished with that, you just keep that with your insurance policy. And now when you pass away, everything's in one place. Your family goes there, and they will see that they are not only protected financially with the insurance policy, but also emotionally with the funeral and estate planning guide. Because all they need to do is open up that funeral and estate planning guide and it just read what you wrote down and then execute your wishes. And they will know everything that you wanted done, and they will have that peace of mind knowing that they took care of everything exactly how you wanted it done. And you provided the money for them to do that. And they will know that you not only loved them and protected them in life, but you loved and protected them that one last time in death, exactly when they would need you the most, when you weren't there, that you can be there with them with an insurance policy in the funeral and estate planning guide. What a wonderful legacy to leave behind. So if you want to leave that legacy, we can help you out. We've got a special quote for our YouTube viewers, funeralfunds.com/YouTube. You can get the best companies at the lowest discounted rates. Take full advantage of it. You'll be silly not to. And you can also call us directly, 888-862-9456. And one of our agents can help you with any questions you have and help you get qualified and approved as well. But if you've got an existing policy and you want us to price shop it around to see if we can get you lower pricing, or you want to add coverage to it, we can help you out with that. If you're looking for brand new coverage or just have some questions on what you might qualify for or what your rates would be, we can help you out with that. But we look forward to helping you find the most amount of insurance for the least amount of money. We will be blessed to help you with that when that day comes. Until that day does come, you take care, you stay safe, you have a nice day. Bye-bye.